think it's 2 months after you graduate, you need to get your EAD card. So I mean, the ideal scenario is if you already have a job by the time you graduate, then great. Then you can plan up whatever you want to do. If you want to take a small break, have a vacation, go back home and come back, you can plan it accordingly. It usually takes 30-40 days for your card to come. So plan accordingly. And if you are struggling with jobs, so I mean, in the last 6 months, you will get a fair idea as to where you stand. Are you being able to crack it or not? If you think, it won't happen, try to push it as far as possible. Don't go all the way to the 60th day. I would say keep a 1 week gap. So 52, 53 days, get your card. I joined in January. So that first year itself, they basically said that, indirectly said that, we're not going to be sponsoring your H1 right now. They're like, let's just see how you are comfortable with us and how we are comfortable with you. And in the next 6 months, if everything's fine, then we'll apply for you next year. And from the previous history also, it has been quite minimal. Like they don't hire a lot of international students as well. But there have been H1 sponsorships that have gone out. I would say maybe on an average 2 to 3 people get every year. They can, but you have to do the processing again. There are some paperwork that needs to be done. And in that paperwork, sometimes the USCI will question you because if your job role changes to a certain extent, XYZ, you have to justify it again. So if you're moving to Apple, Microsoft, or one of the big companies, you may not face that issue. But if you're moving from a middle type company to another middle-ish company, then you might come under some scrutiny. So to avoid that, some people don't do it. Employee retention is one of the primary HR policies. Because then if you lose out on a good candidate and you get someone new, you probably end up paying them more and he may not be at the same level. So because of that, it is something which is high on the priority list. In the current scheme of things, if you have experience, say 2 years minimum, then I don't think it's your problem. You can go abroad and study, go to the US and study as well. If not, I would say you should try and get experience. I would strongly recommend get a couple of years of experience before you go. But if you are decided, I want to leave, then I'd say maybe you can look at Canada, Australia before you go to the United States, because it's getting hard there. Me and my family basically took a decision that it's just best to come back. And so that's what happened to me. But I know a lot of people working in Apple, working in good companies are thinking of coming back. A lot of people are moving to Canada. Their companies are themselves moving them to Canada because the H1 process is becoming very cumbersome for the companies as well. Even good companies like General Electric, Deloitte and all are also facing rejections in H1B. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed review that I am getting from there. The atmosphere is pretty much, sometimes even things get toxic. If there's a change happening, it might spoil the entire mood of the whole department or the company. Over there, it's more structured. They try to make sure, like I mentioned, employee retention, employee satisfaction is very high on the list. I don't think it is the same here in India in all companies. Some of the more established MNCs, yes, they do that. That is one thing you will face. And again, then other than that, competition here in India, population, supply demand, if you go to see, then even a well-educated person may not be getting what he actually deserves. Over there, if you are that good, you should be able to get a salary that justifies your education and your skills.